Hi everyone, back to more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. Funny one this, it's nothing to do with Newcastle United at all. Well, a little bit to do with all the Premier League clubs. We're talking about the most disgraceful refereeing decision I think I've seen, certainly this season, if not in recent seasons. And that's Paul Tierney, Nottingham Forest against Liverpool the other day. Jesus H. Christ. What in the fuck was all that about? You know, lots to unpack. Let's start at the start, really. 98 minutes, my God. This conspiracy theory about Jurgen Klopp's farewell tour rolls on. Everyone seems to want to make a perfect farewell for old turkey teeth. But to be fair, when you look at that, you can kind of answer that, you know, conspiracy theory that, yes, he played over 98 minutes. It was 98 minutes and 32 seconds or something like that. But I think a couple of Forest players did get booked in injury time and that added it on. So that kind of gets rid of that situation. But the big decision, there's no explanation. There's no hiding from this. It's just really, really shit refereeing by an awful referee in Paul Tierney. So if you haven't seen it already, most people have. Nottingham Forest get a corner, cross comes in, Canate and Keller clash. Canate goes down with a head injury, but by this point, the ball has already come out to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's got the ball at his feet, and then the referee blows the whistle quite rightly for a head injury. Now, what does that mean? So most referees will know that means a drop ball situation, but the rules of drop ball were changed in 2019. Clearly, Paul Tierney was off for a fucking 2-week break in the Bahamas or something when that happened, because this bellend has not read the rules. So what he does then is unbelievable. So Forest are on the attack. Callum Hudson-Odoi has the ball. Really what should happen is that ball should go back to Callum Hudson-Odoi and a free drop ball, and Forest should continue the attack. No, Paul Tierney doesn't do that. He gives the ball back to fucking Liverpool and the Liverpool keeper. So that in itself is just criminal. Awful refereeing. You know, these games and these football clubs are, you know, millions is what costs you to stay in the Premier League. Millions. If Nottingham Forest aren't getting relegated this season because of a direct result of losing this game, for example, without getting that massive point required to stay up, they could quite rightly sue the PGMOL and sue the fucking Premier League as well. And I hope that they do, if it is the case that they're in the shit and they go down at the end of the season. But going back to the other situation here, Liverpool have got the ball. They know this is wrong, right? They know this is wrong. They don't give the ball back to Forest. You know, Keller doesn't put the ball back down even to the Forest keeper. No, they just keep on playing. And then 2 minutes later, you know, yes, you can maybe look at Forest and say you should defend better, but 2 minutes later, Darwin Núñez pops up with a fucking header, wins it 1-0. Forest are completely incandescent. A Storman on the pitch, the fucking owner's on the pitch, he's kicking off. They think it's all over. It is now, as they say. You know, and Tierney has just made an absolute huge bollock, dropped a huge bollock at everybody. Anybody's criticised him. You know, match of the day, Shearer said he dropped a clanger. Gina said he was absolutely disgusted by it. You know, most football and pundits and fan media alike are saying exactly the same thing. Mike Dean, even the Dean machine, ripped into him, said he's made a huge mistake. Sky were then saying, oh, do you really think the focus should be on the referee? And fair play to the Dean machine. He's had lots of shit of everybody, especially us, but he did say yes, because it's a major mistake that's turned the game. I mean, we don't know what would have happened there. But had Forest returned possession to them like it should have been in the fucking rule book, they could have maybe put another cross in, maybe got a goal, got another corner, maybe got a goal. Who knows? But for the referee to take the ball away from them at that particular moment when they were in the ascendancy trying to get a goal is absolutely unforgivable. It's fucking disgraceful. It really is. And I can totally understand all the Forest fans, Nuno, the owner, everybody going absolutely apoplectic about the state of the PGMOL. This organisation is utter fucking shit. It really is. Howard Webb and a lot of you, you're crap at your jobs. You're not improving the game. You're making it worse. VAR, you don't know how to fucking work it. You're like a dad trying to work his iPad on Christmas Day, asking his kids to help him. You're useless, the lot of you. You're shit. You know, you can talk about the technology, but human error. You lot aren't refereeing the games properly. For Paul Tierney not to even understand what a drop ball is and what he has to do in the purest sense of the moment is absolutely unforgivable. I mean, he even turns around to his assistant referee, and I don't know, we haven't heard the sound bites. You got to mic these motherfuckers up. You really have to mic them up in the game so we can hear exactly what they're talking about, because if he's ignored his assistant referee who said, no, Paul, you got to give that back to Forest, then the guy should be sacked and never referee ever again. To be honest with you, I'm saying he should be sacked anyway because he's a shit referee. If he makes a mistake as simple as that, I don't want him refereeing my game at Newcastle. I don't want him refereeing anybody's game. Why should he be refereeing a game? If he can't make a simple fucking decision, then he shouldn't be anywhere near football whatsoever. It's absolutely disgraceful. Honestly, I can totally understand it. I must say, though, with all that aside, I'm still not very keen on this Mark Clattenburg situation. I can understand why Forest have done it, you know, because there's so many bad refereeing decisions, but I'm not very keen on Mark Clattenburg coming out and basically saying this is shit and giving you a real detailed look behind the veil as to why. Now, I'll tell you the reasons for that. You know, you're totally entitled to do that, Nottingham Forest fans. I'm totally with you. But what concerns me is that Clattenburg, if Clattenburg was independently employed by a private firm that the Premier League teams were hiring as a representative, then fair enough, I'd have no problem with it at all. But the fact that he's on Nottingham Forest books makes me a little bit uncomfortable, because if he's putting pressure on the referees, maybe the referees will cave and give Nottingham Forest decisions favourably, you know, just to avoid that kind of criticism and that, you know, and that media onslaught. So I'm not very keen on that position. If Clattenburg himself, I know he's a Geordie boy, Clattenburg done well, you know, I'm enjoying him at Gladiators, to be fair. I don't know why he's even doing it. But if he was independently employed, no problem. But yeah, being directly employed by Forest does make me a little bit nervous. But going back to the game itself, Nottingham Forest have got grounds here, serious grounds, to make a formal complaint to the PGMOL, the Premier League and the FA about the state of this decision. They really do. It's absolutely disgusting. Saying sorry after the game means fuck all. If that point is what keeps Nottingham Forest either in the league or relegates them, then who's going to deal with that? Who's going to answer that? And the very fact that Tierney made the same mistake earlier in the game, when his shoe was on the other foot, I think it's the same thing happened to Liverpool and he gave the ball to Forest. So he already made that mistake. I mean, fuck me, if you could sub the referees, he'd have been subbed at half-time. Absolutely disgusting. But that's my thoughts about that, guys. I just want to jump on and have a bit of a rant about it. I'm absolutely sick of the state of referees. It's the worst part of football. You know, this huge game that's supposed to have evolved so much over the last 10, 15 years. The referees have regressed and regressed massively. They're disgraceful. They're crap at their jobs. I don't think there's one decent referee I can think of the top of my head. Possibly Michael Oliver. The rest of them, shit, in all fairness. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Nottingham Forest fans, you're welcome to comment on this video too. I bet you're absolutely fucking livid about this, and rightly so. I hope your club takes action and makes a formal complaint, and I hope something gets done about this. You know, I'm not an advocate for replays and things like that. I know Jurgen Klopp asked for it a while ago, but there's already been a replay over in Europe, I think, in a game where a huge decision was made and it was wrong. I don't think there's any issues here. If Nottingham Forest and Liverpool replayed this game, then fair enough. I mean, you might lose the game, but at least you'll have an opportunity to put things right. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We always like to hear from you. Smash subscribe, all free content evermore. Like the video, help the channel grow. Have a cracking day, and we'll see you later. Cheers.